Welcome back to the UAE course community. I'm so excited to be introducing you to our next guest. Iryna Poladko is going to be talking to us today about her career in using vision boards and how she finds using them not only a creative process into discovering what you want to be achieving in your future, but also a creative way to help young people to begin to discover some of those career options. We're also going to be taking you through how we used Iryna's career vision board activity at our school here at Dubai English Speaking College, and I'll be able to talk to you about how I put together a lesson plan that really complemented what she was doing and made it student friendly in the classroom. So without further ado, I will turn it over to you, Iryna.
Hi guys, hi everyone. Very pleased to talk to you today. Thank you so much for having me, and it's been a big pleasure to work with Maria, and she actually inspired me to create this specific course, because basically what I do vision boards, and I have created a tool. I think you all know about vision boards, but I'll just tell you quickly about it. So it's when you have your dreams and goals and people put it in the visual representation. Some people would just cut things off the magazine, and some people would just go online and they will find pictures. Maybe they want to buy a new car, buy a new house. So all this inspiration, it can be materialistic and non-materialistic as well, and they put it together in one place, in one board, right? So what I've done, I've created a physical product which is selling on Amazon and online, and you can buy the product and then you create your own vision board. But what I realized also, like, vision board has so many, yeah, thank you so much for showing it.
That's the product, that's the physical product.
Yes, but also what I do, I teach people to do online vision boards, because I still don't sell, of course, all over the world yet. So I've done a lot of courses when I teach people how to do it online, right? And me and Maria were thinking specifically how it more can help in a career path, right? So we came up with this lesson, and I know maybe you will not be able to do it as interactive as we did with with the kids, but I'll just take you through the lesson, right? I mean, the presentation, what we did, and then Maria will take you through the lesson she put together. But you can at least look at it, and then maybe you can do it later on, repeat it for yourself, because I think it's useful for anyone, right? So let me just quickly share the screen. Okay. Yes, can you see? Maria, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, I can see it. Sorry, I couldn't find my unmute button.
Yes, no worries. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is about me. So I'm not only creating vision boards, but I also motivate people through my trainings, right? So I do different trainings all over UAE. We do it for government, for public, private sector. This is me on different stages. And so one of the power of visualization is that why sometimes we don't achieve what we want, because our brain is a little bit scared of new experiences, right? So what does visualization do? If you don't have this new experience yet, for example, when I wanted a big stage, right? And I didn't have experience, like my experience was 100 people, but I wanted a stage of 2,000 people, 3,000 people. So what I do, I take a picture and put it on my vision board of a big stage, right? So your brain will be kind of adapting to a new pictures, you know, to new visions. Because why we scared to achieve things? Because it's not yet in our experience. So vision board helps to kind of trick your brain that it's kind of already in your experience. So you're tricking your brain that it's already a reality. Okay, so I talked a little bit already about the vision boards. So it's just a collage of different images, right? And usually it's done in this way, which is a little bit maybe messy. I don't like messy, I like order, right? So my project looks something more like this, where you have the structure of the spheres of life and so on, so on. Spheres of lives like travels, hobbies, business, wealth, romance, and so on. Okay, so one of the things also what visualization does, it's especially nowadays when we have so many distractions, of course, social media, phones, the world is just like so fast, right? So it's very easy to lose your focus on your dreams and goals, right? So what vision board helps is how it helps you to keep your focus on your goal, just so you'll be constantly repeated and reminded about it. For example, even what I did before even I had the board ready, my first box, I put on the vision board that I want to be Amazon bestseller. And then within like 11 months from not having a product ready to be Amazon bestseller, it took me 11 months. Okay, so this also will help in the career, that it will keep your track and focus on, okay, what do I have to do in order to be better in my career, right? Maybe it will be like a constant reminder. Maybe you need to take new courses. Maybe you need to, you know, get some experience from other people or get mentors in your profession, things like that. Okay, so many celebrities also talk about vision boards and how important this is. If you would be interested, you can go online. This all information is of course available. I love this phrase. I can even read it again because it's very powerful. Imagination gives you the picture, and vision gives you the impulse to make the picture your own, right? So then brain wants to make whatever you put on the board is a reality. Okay, so you have to give your brain a mission, and then it will be kind of matching the board to the reality, right? Once it's fit, and it will be the same as in the board. I know it sounds like from one side, you know, many of my clients say, Iryna, it's just some kind of magic, and I agree with that, but it's just our unconscious mind, right? And of course hard work as well. Nobody says that you know, you just put pictures and you do nothing on it, you know. Of course you have to keep working on this. Okay, so how it can help you exactly in career? Basically, it was quite a time for us to understand and to get this visual, you know, easy visual representation for kids, especially in teenagers, right? So I got this idea, how will your career Instagram look like in 10 years? Of course, maybe in 10 years, we will not have Instagram. We have only TikTok or something else, right? But let's just imagine. And this question is for you guys all. How do you think your career Instagram, maybe you don't even have Instagram, or maybe you don't have it specifically for your career, right? But let's just imagine that you created your Instagram for your profession, right? So everything related of your profession will be on that Instagram, okay? So we just take what we do in Canva. Basically, I think you all may be using already Canva, right? So canva.com is a very good tool. It's here. You can see if you're still not using it, but I think you're already using it. Please, you can make account in it and just do it very easily. So what I've done here, I've just take the template from Google. It calls just Instagram template, right? I took the picture in Google and I placed it here. Okay, and then I'll tell you what we will do with this Instagram profile, which is for now empty, right? So imagine, in order to make it easier, imagine that you have like 4 elements, right? Today I will just ask you only 4 questions, right? So first question is me or you, right? So imagine, how do you dress to your work? What kind of dress do you wear? Is it a casual? Is it something maybe fashionable, right? Just think, what do you want to wear for your work? Maybe it's some kind of, I don't know, uniform, right? When we were doing this with kids, of course, maybe the doctor or policeman, right? So think, what kind of dress do you want to wear to work, right? So we took as an example, so it's easier, right? The corporate. We took, I'll just take you through one example and then I'll show you a few more examples in the end, which I've done for different professions, okay? So me, first row. So basically what we have, in Instagram looks like that, right? It has 12 different frames. So first row, it's me, right? How would I dress? You can see here that it's very professional. It's just very strict and very straight to the point. Okay, so this is how I will look like. Then, and it's really easier for kids because some kids love freedom, you know, so much, and for them it's really important to have this freedom of, you know, dressing themselves in a different, maybe sometimes even a crazy ways, right? If people are artistic, more into maybe they directors or they into fashion, right? So for them to imagine themselves, if they're very creative, that they want to be, if they want to be, for example, a lawyer, like in this example, for them to wear something like that, maybe for them to wear a tie, it will be, oh my God, no, 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 I didn't want to do that, right? So this is the first row. Then second question, second row is what's around me, but close by, right? What's around me within 1 meter, okay? How, you have to ask yourself, how does your desk would look like? How, what kind of room it will be? Will it be an office or maybe it's home environment, right? How do you want your room look like? Close by, right? What's around you? And this is how it might look like, right? So basically, if you're a lawyer, you would work with a lot of course, paperwork and documents, and then, of course, you would have to maybe study a lot and read a lot, and of course, as well, clients meeting, right? You'll have to talk and have a lot of, you know, meetings with the clients, understand their needs, and so on, right? So the second row is around me, close perspective, within 1, 2, 3, maximum up to 5 meters, okay? So this will give you this feel of, okay, what do I want to see next to my work? For example, if it's a, I don't know, let's take a photographer, right? So it will be a camera. It will be, of course, a computer. Maybe if you're into IT, right? Or something related to only online business, right? So maybe it's trading, right? You just want your instrument to be only laptop and that's it. Maybe you don't want to have, you know, you don't want to see people around you, for example, because some of us are introverts and we just want to work with a laptop, for example. We don't want to deal with people. So this will put you in perspective, especially for kids when they're choosing their career, and even for young people in their 20s or even 30s, if they want to switch their careers, it can help them as well. Because if in the pictures you put that you're meeting clients and then you realize, oh, okay, this is not what I actually want to do. I don't really want to talk to many people live, at least. You understand? It gives you, when it's visual, it's different. Like when it's in your mind, it's one thing. But when you like crystal clear see it, then you will see your reaction. You would say, oh my God, I love it. This is amazing. Or you would say, oh my God, this is like a nightmare. I don't want this profession if this requires these things. Okay. So this is the second one. And now let's talk about the third row. Okay, so the third row is big perspective. Think bigger, right? So now, once you imagine already that room or the office, now imagine in what kind of building this room is. Is it in government building? Is it in a big corporate organization? Or is it, as we said, it's your home, you know, it's this room is in your villa, for example, right? And after you answer that question, now try to see and think where this room, right? Where is this building? Maybe it's in Dubai, or maybe it's not in UAE at all. Maybe it's somewhere else, like Paris, or maybe you want to work in Silicon Valley, in San Francisco. So think about where's this room or office you're working in? Where is it in big perspective, right? The place, and then also think again about people. Is anyone around you in the big perspective? Of course, if it's a building, there should be people, right, around you. So what kind of people are there? Are they entrepreneurs like you, or are they lawyers, right? Here, because we took example as a lawyer, right? So here it will be like law office. So it's something very corporate building, very, of course, smart and beautiful, but it's corporate. And here I think we took DFC course. So you have to understand, like, imagine, okay, now I'm a lawyer, right? So, and you start imagining where do you go to office, and it will really help you, because of course, if you want to be a criminal lawyer, of course in UAE it's not that developed, I would say, right? But if you want to be a criminal lawyer, because my mom, for example, she's a lawyer, and I remember when I was a kid, she would always go to jail, you know, and I was like, Mom, why would you go to jail? You know, I was really small. It was really funny. And then sometimes when, you know, kids or anyone would ask me, what is your mom? Like, she's in jail. And they always like, I'm like, whoa, 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 don't worry, she's a lawyer, you know? So here I pictured very beautiful offices and courtrooms, right? But you have to understand, you know, I was thinking, my mom, maybe if she thought what kind of places she would need to go in order to, you know, fulfill her dream of being a lawyer, that maybe she would reconsider, you know, if she saw the pictures of those jails and things like that. But she loved it anyways. She just have this feel of fairness. I'll be talking about it a bit later. So you understand? So it's really good to imagine. So it's around me, but big perspective, within a kilometer, you know, kilometers and kilometers, which country it is, which city it is, which district or area it is within the city. Okay. So this is the third row. And now we have the last one, but I would say it's the most important one. Interesting, if we had an interactive chat, I would question you, but it's okay. So the fourth and the most important, I believe, it's what's inside me, right? So how does the job makes you feel? And here it's very important to ask for the text message, right? What would you write underneath your post? So not only the image. Here, the image is not as important as what would you write underneath it, right? So how does your job make feel? Do you feel fulfilled? What exactly makes you happy within your job? Which feeling do you want to give, right? To the world? This is also very important. What kind of like energy and feeling you want to give to the world and take from the world or receive? And of course, like, what do you love the most about your job? You know, things like this, but like small little moments which actually makes your dream job or your job your actually which makes normal job your dream job. Yeah, so here this is how it would look like, right? What would you write in your post, right? So here, which picture here, what's written here inside me, how do you feel, how is your job makes you feel? This is how it look like. It might look like, right? If you're a lawyer, you can say, I feel so satisfied every time I help my clients, right? So this is how it will look in the end. You see this, I wanted to show you also. For example, here, I would say it's one of the most, I think, important that you see, you have this image of balance, and then it's written, the justice has to be restored. So this is exactly also like, as my mom, I would always ask her, like, why would you choose this job? And she said, I love the feeling of fairness, right? That it was unfair. I came and I fixed that situation, right? So these feelings is very important when kids, you know, and you're helping, you know, kids, teenagers, and adults to find their true calling, right? It's very important what is this exact moment defines their job, right? So I love to help my clients so much. I love the feeling of winning a hard case, right? It also can be very like, if a person love competition and be competitive, right? So these three feelings are like defining why you actually work as a lawyer, okay? So this is how it would look like. I think it's really amazing that this will show you, oh my God, this is amazing. I can't wait to be a lawyer. Or you might think, oh my God, looks too corporate, maybe for somebody boring. And the kid, you know, teenager or adult will understand. And it will help. Of course, not all people as visual. Everyone is more can be, you know, understand information more by ear and things like that. But I think we all visual to some extent, right? So I think it's helpful to everyone. And what I also want to show you, I prepare like a few different examples. For example, this would be a vision board for a fashion designer, right? So the first pictures, as you see, will be like very confident, beautiful, well-dressed girl. Then the second row, it would be a, you know, so what is the instruments, right, of the fashion designer? Of course, it's a table, a pen to draw the, you know, new dresses, new designs, and of course, the machine, things like that, right? And then big perspective, it's a building. This is, for example, Chanel building, corporate headquarter building in Paris. So you can also even put the picture of the city, right? And this is the fashion team you work with, and this is how you make people feel. For example, I love that my work inspire other women. I love to help women get their confidence back. I'm super excited by my show, right? So you projecting, oh my God, yes, in 10 years, I want to do my own shows, you know, in Paris, and everyone is there. Or maybe you can even put pictures of celebrities that, I don't know, Lady Gaga wearing my dress, things like that. These things will help you and inspire you. Okay, and then the last example I have is about entrepreneur. For example, I took example of a guy, for example, he says there is no way I'm wearing a tie. So sneakers is my to go everyday shoes, right? So this person is more casual, and then maybe you want to work, from home sometimes, and then, or in this amazing office. I took example of Google Office, and then you do a lot of your meetings online, but you also go to office. Maybe you work in Silicon Valley, right, in Google Office as well. What do? You also go to different conferences. So it's a mix of both. Sometimes you're staying home only with your laptop, but at the same time, you have to imagine where your work will take you, in what kind of events, in what kind of people you would meet during those events, right? So here what's written is like, best part is to work on new ideas, right? Like, best part of my work is to work on new ideas. And then I love my team. And then this is also is a part of, cool visualization, like, oh, I met Elon Musk today, and even it says Elon, yeah, and he's awesome. So, right, you project it because it's very like possible situation, right? If you work in Silicon Valley. So this is 3 examples I wanted to show you. I think it's a very cool tool, and I would love you all to use it. And I think it can really help to visualize this future. And please use it. Please. The last thing I think you have to ask, right, yourself, if you're doing for yourself or you're helping um, your clients, right, to do it, and then let them look at it and then understand, do they like what they see, right? So this is a question. How does it feel, right? Does it feel right? And then you can choose one of those. I'm absolutely happy. I'm not sure about it. Some pictures are nice, some not, or it doesn't feel right at all. Okay, so I think it will help you to so I think it will help you, and I'm very happy to share this with you. My presentation on this is over, but please, I would take some questions, or maybe Maria, do you want to take some questions, or you would maybe continue and tell the experience with kids?
Yeah, sure. So if you just stop sharing your screen.
Yeah, sure.
What I'll do is I'll show everybody what I did for our students here. In looking at the career lesson, what I wanted to do was take an interview I had with Iryna, where she was doing exactly what she did just now, and then I broke it down into a lesson that would be engaging for our students and also achieve the goal that I was aiming for, and that was to help students to start really creatively thinking about their future careers. So at no point during the lesson did I expect them to walk away knowing what they want to do, because that's not the type of practice that I have here with our students. It's always about trying to engage them into creatively thinking about, what could I do? What else could I do? So I'll show you what I created for Iryna's lesson. Now, in looking at everything she did, it was important that it could be something that teachers would be able to really understand and use at their fingertips. So I always create a teacher's copy of everything. And it's that quick reference for them to be able to look at the different parts of the lesson. So I broke it down into clickable links that would lead to different parts of the interview that I had done with Iryna. And then I took it down into a very click and go type lesson that teachers could be doing with their students. And the aim was that I wanted Iryna's best to come out in these lessons. And I didn't want anyone to kind of get lost in how do I do it. So we made it very, very structured for the students. It's important when we're looking at careers education that we want to keep the standards as high as possible. So although this is a creative lesson, there is a lesson objective behind it. And I wanted to make sure that students were aware of what they were doing and why they were doing it. And then, of course, it's you know, more clickable links to the videos and taking the students through step by step what Iryna had taken us through, which is what you just went through yourselves. Now, looking at using the platform that Iryna used, she was talking about Canva. We take for granted that students will use programs like this. I think most of our students were aware of Canva, but just not to make any assumptions as a teacher in the room, I wanted to make sure that our students were able to log in. And so I created a slide on how to do that. And then, of course, keeping them aware of how to create that template. So Iryna kind of took them through and there was the video link for them. And then, of course, helping them understand those different sections that Iryna mentioned around me, and then what's inside me. And then, of course, looking at how to create that template. So it's a work in progress that we found in working with our students. Was it ended up being a really great lesson. Our teachers, so I had two aims when I was doing this lesson. One was that I wasn't actually going to be delivering the lesson. The lessons were going to be delivered by our life teachers, which is our physical, social, health education lessons that we call Life here at Desk. And so I needed to make sure that it was really a click and play for them. I didn't want anyone to kind of get lost in translation, and I didn't want anyone to feel that the lesson was just a video and watching Iryna talk through it. It's important when we're working with young people that we keep them engaged, and a constant, you know, change of activity is important to make sure that we're not passively kind of watching the video without really doing it. So this lesson ended up being 2 lessons. Because it was do as you go along. So each of those stages, there would be the part where the video would be introduced to them, the action that they had to do, and then the teacher would pause it and make sure that they could get through that part of it. So we really used 2 lessons. So this 1 lesson activity could be used into 2 lessons. And then, of course, in getting some of the feedback back from students, they really appreciated that it was a digital lesson as opposed to, so what we did was we also purchased some of the vision board how would you call the vision board kits? Is that what you call it, Iryna?
Yeah, Mira Vision Board. Yeah, Mira Vision Board kit. Yeah.
So we purchased a couple of the Mira Vision Board kits, and what we did is we used them as giveaways. And actually, we've saved one, Iryna, for Father's Day, which is going to be given out to one of our fathers next week. And so by doing that, it was kind of it was great because the digital copy meant that they could keep it on their devices, which also meant that if I was having sessions with students, it's a quick, you know, show me what your career vision board looks like. So it always becomes a reference that I could be using in my sessions with students. It's also a great resource to have for form tutors or maybe heads of departments if they kind of want to get to know students. It's a great conversation piece. So I saw this activity as more than just a lesson in a classroom. I saw it as a lesson in a classroom that can inspire them to think about their future careers, but I also saw it as a conversation starter for parents at home, for form tutors, and even for students with their peers and in between their peers. And then, of course, using it as a resource when I meet with students one-on-one in the Careers Hub. So overall, I, as a careers practitioner and as an educator, I found it a very, very useful lesson. I very much appreciated being able to create this with Iryna. And I think it's important when we do anything like this, that we have to be ready to create outside the box. So although I know Iryna was a little hesitant at first in doing this because she had never done it before. Normally she was doing face-to-face workshops. When you are working in a school environment with teachers, you do want to make sure that you're stepping outside the box, creating really engaging lessons, and something that will be readily available even for a cover teacher. So that's another thing you want to remember is what happens if the teacher couldn't make it for the lesson. We wanted to make sure that the lesson could continue and carry on, and that would mean that it would really have to be a click and play, which in the end, the feedback from teachers was just that. It was easy for them to deliver, and actually some of our teachers were doing it along with their students as well, so it was really fun for them. And then it was a really nice procedure to see our students doing. Unfortunately, they won't be sharing with me theirs because they said it's very private and they're not. And that was something I think we took for granted as well, this idea that everyone would be ready to show it. And actually it brings vulnerability into this conversation.
Yes, I'm really actually very surprised because I do work. First of all, I want to say, guys, the job you're doing, I had one of my biggest trainings. It was 100 kids live. And it was one of the most difficult days in my life. So honestly, no, I'm not exaggerating even, you know. So what you do is incredible, right? Yes, that's really interesting because I do work mostly with adults and they have no problem with sharing, at least. Okay, not everyone want to have a picture and put it on Instagram, of course, but I do even take pictures of the vision boards. Not only they showing me on a group session to their peers, but I do even take pictures sometimes, you know, and they have no problem. But yeah, teenagers, they much more, I think.
Well, it's about being vulnerable and also. I think not just with teenagers, individuals, I think, can kind of be afraid of letting the world know, look, this is my vision, this is my dream. Because there's two elements to it, of course, isn't there? There's when I tell people, suddenly I have to do it. And then what if I tell people and they laugh at me? Or what if they think I'm being really, really silly? So when you are, and this was my learning as well, is when you are doing this with your students, to remember that, you know, what for them to show you means that they really trust you, and for them to put it out there means that they're feeling very, very confident. So when you're putting this out to your students, talk about the insecurities that we might feel about achieving, because I don't know, Iryna, I mean, you're in the business of vision boards, but you know, that energy that we put out, the doubt that we put out, would you say that that can also hinder our progress in achieving some of our goals?
The doubts, you know, one of the things I think maybe I wouldn't call it as a mistake. It's a learning curve for us. Like what you see, what I've done, I've had this Elon Musk, for example, right? Which wasn't in the lesson once we did it, right? Because I always want to improve. And maybe I think this is one of the things which we maybe missed that time, because you see, like if you push them to dream big, maybe somebody already put Elon Musk there, for example. You know what I mean? Maybe somebody put something so big that they don't want to share it. But if we give them example that, look, like to dream big, it's good, it's great, you know, you can put it there, no problem. I think this is one of the things we should actually add it, maybe. Because if we say this is normal to dream big, they will be like, oh, okay, so I can dream big. I don't know how the parents would they love that or not. This is different. The managing of parents is totally different thing, right?
And that's what this is about. This lesson is about dreaming big, but it's also about being creative and helping young people discover and aspire to have careers. I think sometimes careers, the conversation of careers education is too heavy. I think sometimes we make it Absolutely. Really, really heavy, and lessons like this make it fun. It brings the lightheartedness to it, and let's play a little bit. Let's get creative. Let's start to use more lessons like this. So thank you so much. I'm going to open it up now to Q&A. I will stop recording and then we can all switch our cameras on. Just before I press stop, thank you everyone for being here for the June and final UAE Cruise Community public meeting. September brings some incredible new speakers and some incredible new initiatives. So I will see you all in September, and I'm going to stop recording.